I had posted on my Instagram stories this morning that we had been having trouble finding Beulah's heat. And so she was not bred yet. You know, last year we bred her and we waited and we thought she was pregnant because she didn't seem to have any more heats. And turns out she had a uterine infection, so she was not pregnant. So we finally got the vet in and we cleared that up. And then ever since then, we've been trying to find her heat. And the vet came back in December to make sure that the infection was gone, and she said it was. And we still can't find her heat. So once in a while, the other cow will get on top of her, which is a sign. You know, other cows will mount the cow that's in heat, even if they're pregnant. So our pregnant cow, we've seen her in December once. Nope, twice, basically, in December, because it's like 3 weeks apart. I was like, oh, it's more regular. So finally she was back in heat. Well, anyway, didn't see it at all in January. And Colson, stay. Come. Didn't see the heat at all in January. And so I basically just counted 3 weeks from the last time I saw it in December and just put it there, and then counted another 3 weeks, and that would have been last Thursday. So, so she didn't go into heat. At least there were no signs of it, and I was really disappointed and kind of freaking out and saying, well, maybe what we need to do is the artificial insemination tech will do what's called syncing your cow, or synchronization. And what they do is they give her hormone shots to induce heat or produce a cycle, or I don't really know how it works, but they give her hormones. Anyway, they get her to ovulate, and then they can AI her at that point. So I was actually going to call him today and ask him that this morning. Colson, stay. I was going to call him and ask him about it and see how much it cost and, you know, what he thought of that option for us. And lo and behold, when I was milking this morning, Beulah jumped on top of Poppy. And so I was like, yay! So I called our AI tech, and he had a job today, and he did not get off until 5. And so he said, I got to eat dinner and change a headlight in my car, and I will be there. And so now it's 7:30 maybe, and I expect him any minute now to do an impromptu artificial insemination in the middle of the night. I mean, it's not middle of the night, but problems now is we don't have a milking stand anymore. So I just milk her tied to a fence. Well, you know, the vet doesn't like that, and the AI guy doesn't like that. They really like cows to be locked up. Now, I understand. They don't want to get kicked. I don't want to get kicked either. But Beulah's really docile, and she's been AI'd 3 times now, and she's never once, like, flinched, basically. So I'm going to give her some hay. I have the dog out here with me because it is 7:30 at night, and it's very, very dark. And I'm just going to come right out and say, I'm a little scared to be out here by myself. So, we have had a little sickness passing through our family, and so Brendan is down with it tonight. And so I'm out here waiting on the AI guy. And I just hope it works. You know, like, you guys, it just gives me fits because I feel like I'm doing something wrong because I can't find the cow's heat. I know some cows are more elusive than others, but dairy cows are often just really regular, I thought anyway. But with a little research, you know, Guernseys can tend to be trouble in this area. I think it's just their inbreeding. But anyway, I'm feeling a bit silly, and I'm feeling a bit like, if it doesn't work this time, then do we try synchronization next time? At what point do we say, this isn't the right cow for us? Which I really hate saying that, because it's like, we've been through a few cows, you know? And it makes me feel bad. I'm not intending to be either wishy-washy or like fickle maybe about the cows. You know, it's not my intention. It's just each cow we've gotten has had its set of issues, and we have tried our best to work through them. And in the end, you know, things have happened. And, you know, I still have a little PTSD from our Carla cow getting stuck in the fence last month, and I'm just really sad about it. I'm just I don't know. I'm just feeling silly. Like, what business do I have being a farmer or a rancher or anything else? I absolutely love cows. I love them. More than I thought I would. You know, they're a little bit disgusting. I mean, they're a lot disgusting. I hear the guy. Look, I think you can see lights down there. Okay, he's on his way. We'll talk more about cows later. But right now, Colson, come on! Colson, come! Well, I did not film any of that. He came, did the job quickly, said that it would not have been that easy if she was not in heat, so that's a good thing. She seemed to be more swollen and mucusy than she was earlier this afternoon when I checked her, so that was a good sign. I just hope she's pregnant. We have to wait 21 days before doing, 21 days would be her next heat, which I can't detect usually, so that'll probably not tell me anything. But at 28 days, I can do a pregnancy test. So I'll probably have to, I've not been successful in doing blood tests myself, so I'll probably just get the vet back out here. We'll see. I have to make a decision on that. But anyway, hopefully that's the end of that.
What's the plan?
We're going to ride on the back of the sled with the calf pulling it.
The calf's going to pull the sled?
Mm-hmm.
Has he done it before?
Yeah, with Emma on it.
Are there any words you yell like, go, get along?
Yeah, we just yell.
Are you going to help Asher?
Asher?
Are you going to help with the baby calf? You put 2 ropes on?
Huh?
You put 2 ropes on?
So I don't know if you guys remember, but back when we very first were on our way to this property, we were in Montana at a campsite, and I did a video where we talked about how excited we were and how I had already pre-ordered chickens. So I had found on Craigslist people that were pre-ordering chickens for the spring. They would be ready to pick up in May, but this was back, you know, in like late March, early April. So great, I put my name on the list, ordered 10 chickens. Well, we got on property and Megan found some chickens on Craigslist, and so we went and got those, and then just like right away. And then I'll link some of these videos down below. And then we got the chickens that we got from the pre-order sale. Then later in the summer we got more chickens and they ended up being smaller than we thought. We thought they were laying age. But basically, nobody laid any eggs. Like, we got 1 or 2 eggs right when they would get to our property, and then we get no more. And we've read all these things about how chickens often won't lay for even a couple weeks to up to a couple months after they get moved. And so that was disappointing because I had no idea about that. So we thought pretty much that was the problem. So then we were getting into fall and we still weren't getting any eggs. It'd been months since these chickens had been here. And we really didn't even get them spottily. Like, every once in a while we'd get an egg, but really not enough, especially for our big family. So we were still buying eggs. So then it went into winter. Everybody molted, and we were like, well, now we're not going to get any eggs. So we went through the winter and we fed these freeloaders and no eggs. So last spring, we got all excited because maybe they'll lay this spring, and we had gotten more chickens last year, if you remember, and I can link some of those videos too. But go back in our history and look. And anyway, our chickens are free range. They get the run of the place. I mean, really, they can eat anything they want. We were feeding them. So I went online and I found like a chicken feed mix recipe. And because we buy all of our bulk grains from Azure Standard. We bought all the bulk grains that we needed to make this recipe and made it, and that's what they'd been eating since the first year. I mean, we'd been buying these grains and mixing our own mix and figuring it was cheaper than buying organic chicken feed. So last spring, nobody laid. And then midsummer, we had about 6 weeks, I believe, where we got, out of 32 chickens, I think we got a regular dozen eggs every other day, maybe. Can't remember, but we were excited. That's still not enough eggs. Not for our big family. So again, we go into fall, they stopped laying. Winter comes, they stop laying. Well, Azure was out of a couple of the different kinds of grains that we usually mix our feed with back in December. So I went ahead and ordered chicken feed. I'm like, I'm just gonna pay for it because it's only a few months, a few bags. Once Azure has the grains back, we'll go ahead and start buying them again. Well, lo and behold, we started feeding this mix and we started getting eggs. Like 6 a day, 8 a day, 10 a day, a dozen a day. And remember, if you don't remember, that we butchered like half our chicken flock last fall. We only had like 13 layers left. And so we were down chickens, but we were getting a dozen a day. Well, you know, 8 to 12 a day. And the only thing we can attribute it to is we started buying layer feed, like a pre-mixed thing, instead of making our own chicken feed. So it is February. We're getting anywhere from 10 to a dozen a day out of, I believe, 13 layers, and we have 3 roosters right now. We really only want 2 because we're going to have 2 different flocks at this point, so we're going to need to cull one pretty soon. But all that to say, it's not cheap to buy the premix. So I was looking around, and Azure Standard has a bulk purchase of the pre-made mix for cheaper. It's like $1 a dozen cheaper for our eggs. So Brendan built this wonderful shed. I'll put some footage in here of him building it.
A couple days back, we bought 2 tons of chicken feed. That's about a year's worth of chicken feed for us. We built this little bitty shed in which to store it and keep it dry. Now, it's on skids, so we can, you might not be able to see those, but we put it on skids so that we can move that shed to wherever we want. I've decided it makes sense to have a few sheds that are kind of multi-purpose. If that shed is empty and needs to be moved and used for something else, we can definitely do that. It took us about a day to build the frame. It took us about a day to do all the siding. And today we're going to shingle it. And what we're going to do is get some cedar and cut shingles. We did that a couple times. One of them is here on these little sheds. And it's basically an 18-inch piece of cedar, maybe a 1/4 inch, a little over 1/4 inch per shake. And we're milling them. Traditionally, you make cedar shingles by cutting a bunch of squares of cedar and then splitting them with a device called a, what's it called? A froe. I have one. I've never used it, but I'd like to try that at some point, but probably not today. We're just going to use the sawmill, cut down some real thin strips, cut them into 18-inch pieces, and start shingling the shed. 3 days we finished the chicken feed shed. We put a little latch on the front so it can open and close, although I'm pretty sure at least one of our goats is going to be able to figure it out. We'll see.
But we can now house our feed. This should be enough feed for a year, potentially. Now, we, you want me to close the door?
Don't lock it.
We hope to get some more chickens. I'd like a few more layers because we don't consistently get a dozen a day, though we have regularly been getting 10, 8 to 10. So getting more chickens, you know, that feed might not last an entire year. I'd like to do meat birds again this year, have a few more plans of how to keep them safe, hopefully. Still working on that, but and still rotationally grazing them, hopefully. We'll see. But that's what I'd like to do. Anyway, all that to say, we bought a whole lot of feed, and Brendan built this nice little shed that we can keep it in, and hopefully it'll last us at least close to a year. It's a good investment as long as we can keep it dry and keep the goats out of it, which is always a challenge for most of the things we have on the homestead.
Please consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.